From the book of Matthew, chapter 25, beginning at verse 31, hear the word of the Lord. Now when the human one comes in his majesty, and all his angels are with him, he will sit on his majestic throne. All the nations will be gathered in front of him. He will separate them from each other, just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right side, but the goats he will put on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who will be receiving good things from my Father. Inherit the kingdom that was prepared for you before the world began. For I was hungry, and you gave me food to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me a drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothes to wear. And I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." Then those who are righteous will reply to him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you a drink? When did we see you as a stranger and welcome you, or naked and give you clothes to wear? When did we see you sick or in prison and visit you?" Then the king will reply to them, "I assure you that when you've done what you have done for the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you have done it for me." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Years ago, I heard a story about a little girl, and she was at home with her mom, and her dad came home, and he was drunk, and he got in a fight with the little girl's mom, and he started to beat her, and she ended up dying. They took the little girl away from the home. They sent her somewhere. I don't remember where she was, but wherever she was, she saw a picture of Jesus on the wall, and so she was walking by, and she stopped to look at the picture, and the woman with her said, "Do you know how that is?" And the girl just stood there, and the lady said, "That's Jesus." And the little girl said, "I've seen him before. He was crouched down behind the couch when I was hiding behind the couch that night that my mom died." So, Bible scholars tell us that this story is, it hasn't happened yet. And yet it happens all the time, really. And the reason that Matthew, the writer of Matthew, puts this story in his gospel is because this is what Jesus is telling us is what's important, right? This is what's important. That we go to ones who are hungry and in prison, and ones who are strangers. Jesus' ministry was all about the lost and the least, the ones that didn't count, the ones that weren't going to make it without him. So it's an invitation for us to be part of the kingdom and what Jesus is up to. The line that stands out for me that made me want to do this morning, it says, when did we see you? When did we see you? So do you want to see Jesus? I think what this passage is telling us is, and you can tell from the story that little girl, when something like really terrible like that was going on, and I watch things on the news and I think about, Jesus is there. Jesus is there with them. You want to see Jesus? Go to these places that Jesus is inviting us into the lives of the broken, the stranger, the prisoner, the hungry, the lost, the ones who are having a divorce, those who have sick children, those that are sick themselves. It's more than a story. It's like a reality. It's a future, a story about the future, but it's really a story designed to be about right now in our life. This invitation to be part of what's going on in in the world of Jesus and in our own world. Look around you and see. Look around you. Do you want to see Jesus?